Hello everyone, Jeff again, Elite Sports Shooting. Today what we're going to do is we are actually going to redo a cleaning video. We're going to redo the cleaning video of the Winchester SXP. This is the Hybrid Hunter 3.5 inch version, pump action shotgun. So a couple weeks back, maybe more than a couple, it's probably a good 4 or 5 weeks back now, I had a subscriber actually ask me if I could redo the video point of view. So what I had to do is I really had to think about this. How am I going to do point of view with the camera that I have in my shop? I was having technical difficulties. I couldn't figure out why the camera, and if you notice in some of the previous videos in my shop, it goes darker and lighter. A good buddy of mine that I work with, he's Iggy Films. He's the guy that put together my intro for me. So thanks again, Iggy Films, for that. I really appreciate it. But he actually indicated that I don't have enough light, and that's the autofocus just trying to figure out the light that it's recording. So I actually got some more lights, went on Amazon, got some camera lights to brighten things up and to make things a little bit easier. I also had to upgrade my camera stand. So if I'm going to do a point of view, I have to actually have it standing beside me, kind of up and pointing down. So I love Amazon because whatever I want, I just kind of, okay, well, this is what I need, and then it just shows up at my door. I do have to pay for it, but you know, it's part of my project. It's part of my fun. I don't get money for this, but it is a lot of fun. So, and part of the fun is just all the problems that I have and tackling the problems one at a time or a couple at the same time, and it just gets better and better and better. So I'd like to thank Amazon for all the help too. So I just get help from everywhere, and it's funny where you get the help from. So what we're going to do is we're going to reconfigure the camera, and I got to resituate, make sure my lighting is good because I had to learn something about lighting, and then we're going to get started. So if you give me a second, I'll get things swapped around and then we'll get going. Thank you. So we have the SXP, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the 4-end cap off, take my lens cap, put it over here, probably take a drink of water. Yes, it's just water. Take the end cap off, then we're going to take the barrel off. And then this is a 2-way pin. I'm having a few difficulties here. Now this is just a chainsaw file, and this is a chainsaw file handle. It's something it is my profession. So when I pull out the roll pin, and then I pull out the trigger group, there we go. So right here is the big problem, and this is my problem with the Winchester, their pump slide here. This rotating bolt is a nightmare. If you can clean it in this position, you're probably better off, because once you start trying to take it apart, this firing pin is under pressure and it'll shoot across the room. So if you can spray it and clean it like this, but if you can't and you have to take it apart and pull it off, just to clean every nook and cranny. So I have to do this to show you guys, because this is a horse's patootie to get this all back together. So we have everything apart. Now this is just the receiver in here. So inside here is this little band. Do not take that out. That is a nightmare to put back in. So clean around it. Do not pull it out. We'll put some on the bolt. We'll clean the magazine tube with that. Clean both sides. And we'll put some on the barrel. But first we're gonna spray down into the barrel. And we are going to take out this is where it's easier to take out the chokes, is when you have the barrel off, because you could just spin both of them and it comes out twice as fast. Now, I will look into some extended chokes. I like the extended choke better myself because it's easier to swap out. This is a modified that I have in here now. Between modified and improved cylinder, I like them both. And you can see just by the goo that's on my hands, it is a little on the dirty side. So we're going to start with the receiver. Going to be careful around that band in here. Well, we do not want to pull that thing out. I did by accident. It snagged on a cloth, and it took me a while. It took me about 3-4 hours to put that back in properly. So now I'm very, very careful. And this just has to be wiped off. So alright, so the receiver and magazine tube are good. I have a little bit on the end of this, a little bit of this gun treatment. And this is the G96 gun treatment. It's pretty standard. Wipe everything down. Now, pump actions don't generally get really dirty. A couple of things that really get dirty: the barrel. The barrel gets really dirty. It does require more maintenance than everything else. So I'll just feed the hole. You can get like rope snakes that go through. They're actually pretty good. Oh, I'm gonna spray that a little bit on that side. Take my bristle brush and just then I'll pass the hole a nice piece. You can use the patches. You know, other people swear by them. I think as long as you're cleaning it out. So you can see how dirty that was. So we're just going to pass it through one more time. A patch you just push in back and forth, back and forth. I have a hard time threading it through that little piece. There we go. Just pushing it all the way through until she comes out the other side. And that looks pretty clean. I'll just eyeball it up. Looks good. I'm gonna put my choke tube back in. You gotta put it in right. This is the Invector Plus. So this is what your choke wrench would go into. I'll just thread her back in. I sometimes use my choke wrench, but my choke wrench is in my shotgun toolkit right now, and it usually stays in there, and that toolkit goes with me to the range. So I'll take a rag, just any old rag, and put my finger in and just try to get it as finger tight as possible. Now we're going to clean up the bolt a bit. Wipe it off really good. Pull the firing pin out of the spring. We'll just wipe the excess off the firing pin. And then push this all back together. Boy, wouldn't life be great if this just all went together happily ever after. But this is where it gets tricky. So it literally sits in like this, but it sits in there perfectly. Now this does take a few attempts, and if you push this too hard, it's going to fly, and you let it go, it will fly across the room. So this is why I say, yeah, try to be as careful as possible. It's the right amount of pressure in the right position, and I've done this quite a few times. It's got to go right through the bolt. The way I peeled it off the back. Holy cow. I let the pressure off at just the right time. This back part of the bolt has to go on the back side of the slide housing, and you have to depress it so it literally just sits in there perfectly. And wow, I think there was a little bit of luck on that one. I've cleaned this quite a few times, and every single time I have this, I have that same problem. But now I don't want to take it apart again. but it goes back together pretty easily. Just literally slides right back in. And then we'll put the barrel back on. Move the slide to the forward position. And then it goes, the front goes in first, and then rock the bottom in and put your roll pin back in. I just pop it back in, grab a condenser. It doesn't need a whole lot of force, just a little bit. And now we're going to rack it. There you have it. And once you get the flooring cap back on, I usually just do a rack, and that just makes sure that everything is functioning the way it should. So there you have it. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. I do try to get back to everybody, and I do really appreciate the comments, and those who do, thank you very much. As well as if you like the content of the video, click that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so. And always remember to keep both eyes on your target. Thank you, everyone.